Hey everyone, Matt from Soundrolling.com here with another sound chat, and I'm here with Hovak Alaverdyan. Alaverdyan? Oh, I nearly got it. Apologies. And he is a sound mixer, sound designer, re-recording mixer for all sorts of short films, and he is in his lovely studio at the minute, which is just awesome. So, hi Hovak, how's it going?
Hey Matt, doing good. How are you doing?
I'm very well. So I just wanted to kind of start with the question that I ask every single person, which is, how did you get into sound?
Oh, actually, I got into sound in 2002, I guess, when I came back from army. But I always had a musical background. I started playing violin from age 7, and then I transferred to guitar, composition, went to conservatory, got my master's degree in music. Uh, so I always had a musical background. And then when I started building my first studio in Armenia, uh, there were no school for audio engineering, so we were just trying to experiment, learn stuff. Uh, there were there were no YouTube. There was no information about like audio stuff, so we were just trying to experiment, learn on our own, me and my friends. So that's pretty much how I got into uh, mixing, editing, all this audio stuff. And then when I moved to US, I got a scholarship from Berklee College of Music in Boston. So I went there, and then after that, I came to LA, went to LA recording school to get more skills, to get involved more into post audio.
And was that was it a natural kind of progression to go from kind of music kind of to
Um,
film, or was it always kind of the way, but you were just taking what you could?
well, music is still my passion. I do it, and I will do it all the time. Uh, but last 3-4 years, I got interested in film audio. Uh, I don't know. It might be a natural transition, but I just got really interested. So that's why that was the main reason I went to LA recording school to know more about post audio.
So what sort of projects are you working on at the minute?
Right now, I'm working on a documentary as a sound designer, dialogue editor. Uh, I have another short for a student from New York Film Academy. So those two projects right now.
And you also do a bit of location stuff as well?
Yeah, I do. I really enjoy doing location sound mixing. Uh, that
Fantastic.
might be not common for post audio guys, but for some reason I really enjoy it, and I try to do it as much as I can.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's similar to me in terms of like I, I started out kind of a similar way, I guess, just doing kind of sound design and stuff like that. And then I think the only reason I transitioned to kind of post, I mean, to production side was just because
Mm-hmm.
of the kind of turnover of projects, and I was getting quite frustrated with the kind of like fixing student films, especially. It was kind of yeah, fix it. I can fix my own mistakes, but fixing other people's mistakes is kind of less fun. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of my way into it as well.
Yeah.
So
Well, actually,
oh
yeah.
no,
Go ahead.
go on. No, please.
I was gonna say that sound designing is also including location sound recording, right? Because you go out, like you record sounds, record backgrounds, like ambient sound. So it's not that far from location sound mixing or recording. So
No, definitely no. What's your kind of process for when you're taking on a project, and if you're doing kind of, I guess the sound design role being like the all of it, in terms of like seeing the overall kind of scape of how it's going to sound. At what kind of point are you physically going out to record all your effects? Is it after you've just done a spotting session, or what are you kind of doing first?
First, it depends on the budget, actually. If the budget allows me to go out and record, I try to do it as much as possible. It could be car sounds, like ambient sound, like all sorts of sound that you can actually go out and record. If they don't approve the budget, then I'll try to use my the libraries I have with tweaking and like changing stuff, because pretty much everyone has the same library, and it would be cheesy to use the same sound that everyone uses. So
put a Wilhelm scream in every now and again. No, awesome. And the type of stuff that you're doing, is it what kind of genre is it kind of falling into? I know you're doing kind of documentaries, so that's kind of your non-fiction stuff. But in terms of your fiction, you seem to have quite a broad range of kind of films that you've been doing.
Well, I have done only 2 documentaries so far. I haven't mixed any documentaries. I would love to. I did sound design and some cleaning and restoration. One of the documentaries was shot on just a Handycam camera in Arabia, I believe. So I had to clean all the audio, edit dialogues and stuff. What was the other question?
No, it's just, I mean, I'll just pick up on that point, because it's always really interesting when you again, like, given stuff to kind of treat. I'm always kind of interested in what kind of processes people are going through and what maybe the usual plugins they're using, for instance. Like me personally, I mean, I've got the kind of RX3 at the moment, although I should have 4 soon, I guess.
That's what I use all the time, actually. That's one of my favorite plugins. Plugin bundle, actually. I got it a couple months ago. I was using the RX2, and then when RX3 came out, I just bought it because I use it so much.
But the kind of, what are you doing first? So are you just doing your, for instance, in the RX4 plugins, there's like the dialogue denoiser, but there's also the denoiser, declipper, is there kind of a hierarchy in terms of what you're using first and what you're using first?
No, there's no any first or second. Whatever needs at that point. So if it's noisy, I just clean the noises. If there's too much sibilance, I just try to use the declicker to get rid of all those mouth sounds and stuff. So whatever comes first. Sometimes the spectral design is fantastic. Like it's like a Photoshop for sound.
Oh yeah. No, I spend ages in there. It's really hard though when it gets really loud, because everything just looks orange to me, and it's just like I can't even see where where I'm meant to be cutting. I'm just guessing on kind of frequencies and stuff. Mm-hmm. No, that's really cool. So the kind of, going back to, I guess, the kind of short films that you're kind of working on, what kind of genre are they in?
Because the short films don't have that much budget, especially student films, they try to limit themselves in drama, some action, maybe comedy. So those are the main genres that I get for designing or for like mixing stuff. So yeah, mostly drama and some action.
Nice. I love a good drama. It's all about the drama.
I enjoy it.
No, it's cool. And with I've never really thought about it before, but it's just like how are you, when you're presented with a budget, how much are you able to kind of allocate? Are you doing it kind of on an hourly basis, just based on studio time, or are you doing it based on, because I mean, often for me, it's kind of been either, I mean, I've usually worked on the location side of the project as well. So I do it again just to make sure that I fix my own mistakes, hopefully not too many, or I kind of I'm just making it kind of seeing it all the way through so it can be a decent kind of showreel piece as well. But it's just how are you kind of dividing your time, and how do you choose what gets your most attention if someone comes to you with say a lower budget?
Okay. Again, it depends on who is the client.
Yeah.
And so I try to give discounts for students, because obviously they don't have enough budget for hourly rates.
Yeah.
So I come up with a flat rate for the whole thing.
Okay, cool. And so that's just broken down into kind of, I guess, sound design.
I give them a breakdown. Why am I charging that much? So they can have an idea like which step costs how much.
Right.
You know, it's sound design, it's dialogue editing, Foley, or whatever they need me to do, or if it's a full like post package.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not doing it on my own. Only I have a team working with me, composers. I have 3 composers, dialogue editors, and so we spread the work between these people, and I give them breakdown who charges how much, so they can have an idea like why are they paying that much.
Yeah, fantastic. And the people that you work with, have they been working with you long, or are you kind of do you just hire freelancers? Maybe if it's a bigger project, is it?
I try to work with the same people all the time because I already know their work. I trust them. That's the main thing, you know.
Yeah. And do you find that they have kind of a similar style to you?
Sort of, but mostly I pay attention to the quality of work. Because when you provide audio services, it has to be a top quality, and I pay attention to the quality more than the style.
How's your kind of communication so if you're working with so a composer and a Foley artist, and you're kind of running the show, what's your kind of, are you having kind of daily communication with people? Or I mean, in a typical kind of size project, what's your communication, and how do you keep everything kind of ticking over and on time?
Well, we pretty much communicate like every other day because we are also good friends. You know, we talk on a daily basis, not about the project, but like in general. So, but when project comes out, we try to keep in touch, like maybe every 2 hours or every day. So, you know.
How are you finding the kind of time you've been given to do a project? Because I've often found, for instance, that some people will come to me and it'll kind of be a bit late in the day already, and then they'll be like, okay, and yeah, we want to get it into this festival, so can you do it in so long? Do you find that you generally
sometimes
have
it's
enough time?
sometimes it's frustrating, but because you know they some film guys, they don't plan audio in advance, you know, and they come to you the last minute. Hey, we need this to be done in 2 days. I just say it's not possible. So I usually give, if it's a short film, I usually give it like 2-3 weeks so we can finish the whole thing, and that includes like revisions and stuff, like going back to change anything, because you know it's a creative process. Especially the music, the scoring.
Yeah, I'm finding more and more that the kind of video edit doesn't stop as well. Like no matter how much, I think that's definitely, that boat has sailed in terms of
that's
can
a
we just
pain.
lock? Yeah. So how do you go about reconforming? And are you doing the reconforming and then passing it to kind of all the people you're working with, or how's that kind of coming about?
Well, I had only two recuts so far, and it was really painful because we had we had so many issues because of the timeline change, and it took us about a week to fix everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So yeah, and I try to give them as much information as possible so they can bring the final, like the very final cut, and from that point there is no changes allowed. So
okay, so you definitely just have a firm kind of, well, I need, if you want me to have the time and you don't want it to cost more, just have that kind of time. And so is that coming again like 2 weeks kind of before you're meant to deliver? Is that coming, because again, with it being the creative process,
well, whenever they come to me like asking how's the process, like what's the procedure, what's the process, that's the first thing I tell them. Do you have a final cut? Do you have the last, like the very final cut and no changes at all? And then I take the project.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I maybe should try that a bit more.
Yeah. But we have done a couple of 48 hours project. I don't know if you know about the 48 hours.
Yeah.
So it's really challenging, and I really enjoy doing it. We've done, let me see how many, 3 48-hour projects so far. Nice. So it was really challenging, but I loved it.
I think it's kind of always nice when you know that although it's hell at the moment, it's kind of just another 24 hours of no sleep and I'll be fine. Everything will be
no, I'm sorry. It's 48 hours. Did I say 24?
No. I just mean after they've kind of shot it and then you've got 1 day left and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Just crying at the mixing desk.
Yeah, and especially for me, because I'm not only doing the post, I'm doing the location sound as well. So I did the whole process and pretty much no sleeping.
Yeah.
So we went out to shoot the whole film, and right after we're done shooting, I came to studio and start working on the post. You know.
Yeah, it's mad. I've done it once where I've done both sides of it, and it's just a lot of sleep. You kind of wonder what you're like. You wake up the next day like after it, and you're like, did that sound right? I hope that sounded okay. Did I really put that in? Like, just start hallucinating unicorns and everything like that. But yeah, it's mad. But it's really interesting because when you do both sides of it, I'm always really keen to, like, once you had experience with post-production, you're obviously just very keen on what you want to pick up on location. And just having this kind of so many things. So, right, first thing, I guess, is about, do you try and, when you're recording dialogue, what do you think of footsteps? Do you think footsteps should be in, or footsteps should be as limited and as kind of, they shouldn't be there at all when possible? Which side are you on?
I would prefer to have the footsteps later on, because when we're on location, I try to record the dialogue as clean as possible, isolated from everything.
No, that's good.
But if again, it comes to the budget. If the budget is enough to have 2 boom operators, why not getting the footsteps? I mean, it's always good to have, even for the reference. So.
So you mean you'd have one booming the?
Yeah, I might even throw like a couple lavs in the plants and stuff, so I can get like every sound possible.
Right. Okay. So it's all.
There's no bad sound for me. So.
Fair enough. No. Interesting.
Everything is possible to use.
Nice. I like that. So when you would, for instance, if you had a boom just on, say, like 2 people walking, and then you had a boom kind of on the floor just trying to pick up the footsteps, how is that kind of mixing in? Are you kind of then kind of reducing the sound in the dialogue of the footsteps and then just fading up the footsteps of the effects, or are they just in as a?
Well, the thing is, we're recording. I am recording isolated tracks. So even if there's only 1 boom, I try to set up like at least 2 or 3 lav mics, around, like if it's interior shot, like I set up like 2-3 lav mics so I can get all the other sounds, like props and like whatever they are touching or like moving. And every microphone, like each microphone is isolated, and I record isolated tracks, so it's really easy to use it in post.
Right. Yeah. No, of course. And so when you get those actual elements in, how are you kind of laying out your sessions? Are you just laying it just dialogue on top, and then is it effects first? Is it ambience? Is it do you have a layer?
Usually I go. You mean in the session, right?
Yeah.
So my template is like this. The first goes the dialogues,
Yeah.
room tones like underneath or like whatever. Then goes backgrounds, and then goes effects.
Yeah.
Hard effects like FX, and then Foley, and then music.
Right. Cool. Music's always on the bottom. Yeah. No, that sounds good to me. Nice. And so what are you recording on when you're going out? What's your kind of equipment for kind of location sound?
When it comes to microphones, I always use Shep's microphones. Not always, because I got my set of Shep's like recently, a couple of months ago. I have a CMIT5U. I have 2 of those actually, and I have 2 of CMC6s with the MK41 capsules. I also have a 416, the KMR81 shotgun, and I actually have an old T-powered 816s, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I have 2 of those. I never had a chance to use them, but I really want to give it a try. So
yeah, no, that's really cool.
As far as lavalier goes, I have 2 Sanken COS11, 2 Tram 50s. That's what I have right now for microphones. I don't have any wireless systems because I always try to rent them. My own preference is Electros 400 series. So what else? My main recorder is Sound Devices 788T with the CL9. So that's pretty much it.
Nice. Are you finding yourself doing kind of mainly bag work, or are you finding yourself doing? Do you have everything on a?
Right now, I'm doing bag work. I don't have the CL8 right now because then the reason I bought the CL9 is because I'm trying to build a sound card right now. So
yeah.
I got the CL9, but I'm gonna get the CL8 so I can use it in my bags as well.
Nice.
So,
no, it's
right now more of a bag work, but I want to have the card ready.
Yeah. No, that's the dream. That's what I want as well. I need to work towards that. Definitely. It's funny how kind of big the jump is in terms of the kind of equipment. Just to go from, for instance, bag work to then cart work, apart from obviously needing.
Yeah, cart is really
car or van.
It's more expensive, more gear involved, and
yeah, because you're going to try and get monitors and things like that as well, I guess.
And monitors. I'm planning to get the venue system for Electros, antennas, the IFB system. So there's a lot involved.
Yeah, it's like buying a whole nother kit. That's what I find.
Yeah,
it's mad. No, and it's tricky with all the like RF distribution and stuff as well. Figuring out all that. But no, that's really cool. And in terms of what you're putting in when you're on location, in terms of sound reports, now I suppose it's different if you kind of know, because you were there on set. If you're then doing the post production, you can kind of just instantly recall, hopefully, touch wood, that you remember what you kind of did. But is there are there any productions where you're just doing the location and you're not doing the post? And if so, what kind of stuff are you writing down?
Well, I always mark whatever is good, whatever is bad on my sound devices, the recorder, and I always and there's a wave agent to do the sound report.
Yeah, no, definitely. And you can even can you make it inside the 788? I think you can. You can auto generate it, can't you?
Can you do what?
You can like automatically add the kind of sound report into the file structure. Can you do that?
You can make some notes on your recorder, like a circle,
and it makes it a little file. Does it make it makes it a file?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
So that's just like because I have I'm running the 664 at the moment because I do a lot of kind of corporate stuff as well as kind of it then kind of accommodates the feature film stuff or the bigger stuff where it's kind of a fake cart. It's just my bag on a stand or something. But yeah, okay. So it's good to see that they're the same kind of thing as well. That's cool. And I don't know, in terms of so you always have a kind of boom operator that you work with usually?
Yeah, I have a boom operator that I usually work, but if they want me to do both, I try not to because I really enjoy just mixing. But sometimes I do that too sometimes.
Yeah. No, me too. Definitely on the kind of shorter films and things, especially if it's only. I mean, it becomes fairly okay if it's only one or like two people maximum.
Yeah.
Then I can kind of say, yeah, okay, that makes sense. As long as as long as I don't have to have the bag strapped to me all day and then run around doing steady cam shots or anything like that. It's not too bad. And I recently got myself a kind of back brace as well, just to kind of. It's like a support for your back. It's kind of a Velcro thing with
a
plate,
I got it.
Plate in the back. And I found that's actually really kind of just improved my general posture as well, because I found I just, for some reason, I'm just finding like harnesses just really tricky to kind of evenly distribute the weight, because I'm always trying to pull it tight kind of around the waist and stuff, but I still find that kind of sits on your lower back. Do you find that? What kind of harness do you have for your kind of bag work?
I don't have a harness.
Okay, wow. So it's just around the neck.
Yeah, but I need to get one.
Yeah. You need to get one, man. God, I'm feeling it, and God, it's horrible. And how are you finding the difference between the 416 and the 5U?
They are both great microphones, but sound-wise, this is just a personal preference. Sound-wise, I think CMIT sounds richer, like bigger. That's has a lot of like bottom end. I really like it. It's very, very pleasant sound.
Nice. Yeah, because I always found, the 416 is always going to stay in everyone's kit because it's practically bulletproof. I mean, you can.
It's definitely a go-to mic. And also one thing that I really like about the CMIT is you don't need to be really close to the talent's mouth, and it still gets perfect audio.
Nice. No, that is definitely. I'm either getting that, or I'm going to try and even go even further and get the super MIT. But I need
digital processing.
Yeah. But I'll test them out definitely just to make sure that see if there's that much difference for that much kind of investment.
Yeah.
But no, it's always interesting because they have. I haven't seen the frequency response or anything of the diagrams for the 5U, but I know that the 416 has that high end bump to try and obviously get you the clarity and for the lower end stuff when you're outside. But it does kind of leave things a bit thin. So I personally still have the CMC5 with the MK41. So that's my inside mic. I still need I should get the 6 again. I need to look into kind of differences and stuff.
Yeah.
But
No, I really love them. I have two CM6s.
nice twin pack.
Yeah, I very often I use them as a stereo pair for recording acoustic guitars and stuff.
Nice.
It's really, really nice sounding mic for acoustic instruments.
Let's talk about your studio, because you just finished it apparently, and it's looking lovely in the background.
Yeah, thank you. I finished it about a month ago. I was building it 2 months for myself.
Wow. And when you were, because lots of people, I mean, I just still have a kind of bedroom studio, nothing proper yet. But when you're kind of doing your research and trying to kind of set up your own studio, what are you kind of going for first? Are you kind of, okay, you've got maybe your Pro Tools HD rig, but what are you looking for in kind of furniture, or what are you looking for in kind of, well, let's start with the room size. Like, what's your, is it just
it's not too big. It's not too big. Let me see if I can show you. That's the whole.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's not too big, but it's enough for working here.
Yeah.
So I paid a lot of attention to acoustic side, because that's number one thing for me. If the acoustics, if it's not right, it doesn't sound right, then there's no point of having any studio here.
Yeah. No, that's true. And what do you?
So I did a lot of researching on what kind of materials to use, like where to put the panels, how to build the panels.
Yeah, you built your own as well.
Yeah, everything you see here I built myself.
Oh wow, fantastic! Completely custom. What did you use out of interest for your sound panels?
It's Owens Corning fiberglass inside, and Guilford of Maine fabric on top of the panels.
Okay, very good. I will get those details and put them as a link as well, because I need to do more research on it. I currently just have the.
Yeah, these are pretty much the industry standard. There's a lot of good panels out there, like Prime Acoustic have a good set, but after doing a lot of researching, I found that, like, not most expensive, but a lot of good studios are using this specific materials for acoustic panels, and they are approved by Time, and like many acoustic engineers have really good reviews on them. So I decided to go with this specific materials.
And was it just because you were either just really good at DIY or just making your own stuff, or was it a kind of cost element as well?
Maybe. No, I really enjoy building stuff myself. Soon I'm going to build my own desk. I have everything planned in 3D. So
you can just try and get a big enough 3D printer, and you can just print it.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be mad.
Yeah, no, I enjoy doing everything myself if I can.
Yeah, fantastic. And in terms of the spacing of the panels as well, like for instance, do you have any panels on the ceiling, or are you just
Yeah, definitely. There they are.
Ah, okay, there they are. Suspended as well.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. And they're suspended on the walls, I guess, as well, in some fashion, or are they kind of just put on the walls, but they have obviously all the fiberglass in them?
They are not. They're not sticking on the wall. There's a gap between the panel and the wall, about 2 inches.
Amazing. Yeah, I need to again do so much research on it, but it's just really interesting trying to just build your own studio. I definitely try and convert my bedroom into one, but maybe it'd be don't know where to sleep then. That's the problem. So, no, fantastic. And what mixing desk are you using?
This one is a Avid artist mix. This is what I'm using.
Awesome.
It's right now it's enough for me. Maybe I will expand to a better like a C24 or something later on, because I'm planning to change my whole rig. Right now I'm using Apollo quad, and maybe in a couple months I'm gonna invest in full HD rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the HDX system with two 16x16 analogs. So,
nice.
If I have any money left, I will invest in a mixer. But that's my main focus right now, to get
Amazing.
the HD rig.
Amazing. And you've got some other instruments there as well. What else is kind of on your desk? Because for instance, I'm just having the kind of Pro Tools HD thing, and that's about it at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So what else is there?
These are my main go-to preamps, the Millennia STT1s. Not the very first preamp that I would reach for. I will show you my first one. But these are really, really great channel strips. They got really nice transparent preamps. The EQ is fantastic. Compressor is a little bit tricky. It's very dangerous compressor to use. LA610, Sans amp for recording bass.
Amazing.
I have.
Nice.
Here I have. These are my main, like the very first preamps that I would reach for. Avidis Audio MA5s. These are one of my best preamps.
Amazing.
So yeah, this is my rig.
Wow.
I have some other stuff here too.
Oh my god, I'm getting rig envy. Well, I need a rig first, but amazing. And I love the good old Genel X. I've got the Genel X, you see, so I can at least hear.
I love Genel X.
Yeah.
These are 8040As.
I think I have those as well. Yeah, no, they're really cool. Awesome.
Sounds really fantastic.
No, amazing. And so when you're, I'm just trying to think of when you do both kind of location and post-production, are you kind of, how does your process kind of differ in terms of the pre-production that you're doing for the whole project, but like your post-work flow? Do you kind of already line everything up in terms of full schedules with people? Or?
Yes, if I already know that I'm going to do the post as well, I set up everything a little bit different so I can get my job easier in post.
Cool. And what sort of things are you doing to kind of make it easier for yourself?
Mostly recording as much as possible. Besides dialogues. Getting as much organic sounds as possible, the car sounds, footsteps, door locks, whatever in the scene.
And are you finding that the kind of directors are kind of on board with you kind of trying to get as much as you can at once? Like, for instance, are you doing kind of wild tracks while you're actually shooting?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I record while we're shooting, just by setting up mics different places, like lavaliers or maybe another shotgun. But I sometimes I just go when they are doing lunch, like everyone is having lunch. I just take my bag, the recorder and microphone, and just get as much sound as possible.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's always really tricky just trying to get as much extra stuff as possible. But again, really handy once you know you're in post-production. And have you already had some sort of, I mean, if it's a drama, maybe it's not as, for instance, as heavy in terms of the sound effects that are needed. But is there still a kind of bigger discussion about the kind of sound for the, a bigger discussion with the director about how sound is going to play its role in the film? Just in terms of, are you sitting down and just kind of saying, okay, well, I'm doing the location and I'm doing the post. Shall we start thinking about how you're wanting the film to sound?
You mean before we start shooting the actual film?
Yeah.
Not really. The post discussion comes after they have the picture lock.
Okay.
So before that, I just try to get as much possible.
Fair enough. No, yeah, it's a massive job in itself. I know from personal experience, but no, I just thought it'd be interesting if you if you actually had the time, because I never really. It's very hard to obviously have even if you had the conversation, for instance, beforehand, whether that makes any sort of difference later down the line in terms of even how they act on set, now that they know that you've had a discussion about what you need, and maybe if that made your job easier. But yeah, I always find that it always still just boils down to just getting the dialogue and then its effects and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And are you using kind of wild lines a lot of the time as well? Do you find that if you can't get something, do you think it's valuable for someone to pick up?
Definitely. We even sometimes record wild lines in the car, because that's probably the most quiet place in the production. But yeah, definitely, if there's a need for wild lines, I try to get them on the spot.
And if you're just doing the post-production, have you tended to know the location people who worked on the film, or are they just completely, I don't know if you're already kind of mates with other sound mixers that then pass you post-production projects, but generally are they someone you know, or how is that? Do you have any sort of...
Not really. I had only once that I knew the production people, sound people, but that was the only time.
And how did you find the kind of, I guess, the communication? Oh, no. I'm just trying to get at kind of, I guess, when you're in post-production, what you're kind of looking for in terms of the material. I know you're kind of looking for, I guess, everything, and so it becomes a very hard question to answer. But I'm just wondering if there's any sort of after communication with the location mixer.
At that point, because location mixer records the sounds, put it on a hard drive or whatever, the CD or DVD, and gives it to the director or producer. And from that point, he has, if he keeps the copy, then yeah, I might reach the sound mixer to get the cleanest sounds possible, because sometimes the video editors, they process audio, which is horrible. I usually talk to the producer or the director in advance, so they can arrange a meeting with the video editor. Because when you get the processed audio, you can't do much about it.
No, yeah, that's true.
That's why if they have the hard drive with the production sound, then there's no need to reach the sound mixer from the production. I just get the hard drive and use whatever I need to use from that hard drive. Okay. But if they don't have it and the audio is already processed, then yeah, there's a need to call the sound mixer and say, hey, I need the sound files if you have them.
Yeah, no, I think that's quite incredible that someone's actually, a video editor's actually done that with you. That's crazy. What, they've just put their own kind of like reverb on it, or like how have they?
They usually mess with the levels, because when they edit, they don't. Maybe they're not using like proper leveling and stuff, and things seem maybe quiet or too loud for them, and they try to mess with the levels, and when they process it, you just lose all the information in the track.
Ah, right. So all the metadata and things like that. You mean?
Metadata, and sometimes you are not able to expand the tracks.
Ah, yes,
You know,
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to
Because
fill the gaps, like the room tone and like everything else. That's why I try to talk to those people and explain that do not process the audio.
yeah,
Do
yeah.
do whatever you want, but just do not process it.
No, yeah, sure. I know you're getting files as AAF typically or OMF.
AAF or OMF,
Yeah,
whatever they give it. Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, but no, that's a really important point actually, because I've uh, earlier, earlier on in a project, I thought that I had made a complete duplicate copy of things, and then I'd gone and everything was nice and denoised or whatever, and then I just did one one kind of clip, and it processed it, and then I couldn't get back to it, and it was it's just awful. So no, that's that's very important. But are you finding yourself as well just duplicating a whole session and putting it below, or what's your process for kind of when you're
not duplicating, but I'm backing up a lot. I have two extra hard drives just for backup. So every other day, I will, like, when I finish working on, let's say I finished working on the project today, not finished, but like the day is over, I try to back it up on the hard drive, so I have it.
And is that a kind of save copy in thing, or is it just
no, save copy? Always save copy.
Yeah, because again, the linking of media, you forget one hard drive and the whole thing's gone. Okay, no, it's really interesting. And how are you in terms of labeling those projects as well? Because I've often found it tricky in terms of I've called something, for instance, Project X V1, V1.1, V1.2.1. And it.
I always label the dates, and that saves me a lot of time. Like whatever name is the like name of the project is. So let's say
just Project X,
project like Jam Session, and today's date. It always saves the time to find again and figure out like which was the last session, and
so is that, and that's saved. So your date is from because you're saving backups, right? So your date that you put in is from when it's actually saved, but you're still then using a current session, which is just generically called the project name. Yeah. Oh, okay, that's the idea. Nice. No, that's a really good way of doing it, actually. That's really interesting.
I found it easier. So
yeah, and typically, I mean, I suppose with a short film, they're not taking up that much kind of
space
data. If you're kind of you're not saving the video file because that won't change.
Oh yeah, no.
But, so
especially nowadays, hard drives are not that expensive. So.
No, that's very true. Actually, you can get like a terabyte for I think about £50 over here. So that's like $70, $80.
Okay, it's actually cheaper here. I got the last time I got hard drive, it was I believe $90 for 3 terabytes.
Nice.
It was on sale, so I got 2.
Well, I'm just going to kind of end it there, and then we can have another little kind of further chat offline as well.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of say goodbye from now for everyone, and I'll do another sound chat coming soon, so stay tuned. And it's over to you to just say final goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.